Hello there, friends. It's Jimmie Maverick. Hey, welcome to another Best Ball Draft. This is the first one I have done after the NFL draft, so we know where all the players are going. I really stacked up well with the rookies that I consider to be the wide receiver ones on their team. I also got a couple of really good rookie running backs, and I really like this team. I think this team has a lot of upside. I want to hear what you guys think about it, so leave me a note down below. The part I messed up on, tight ends. I screwed up on the tight ends, but I think it's a very solid team overall. I'm not too worried about the tight ends, by the way. And if you haven't done so already, hey, man, hit the like, smash subscribe. We're still going to be doing these all during the offseason here. Going to bring you content every week. This is really good for seeing where these rookies are going on the draft board. This is just kind of initial placements. They're still moving around a lot, but I think this is really important to help you learn how the drafts are going to go this year. Hello there, friends. It's Jimmie Maverick. Hey, man, it is post-NFL draft. And I am doing my first post-NFL draft best ball of the season. We are, look, it gave me a pick at the end of the draft for the first time this season. Pick 11 here. This is a tournament best ball. So it has a big money component at the end if you make it through various hurdles at the end of the season. And you got to qualify in the first place. So it's a very high risk, and it's an expensive entry. So, I don't do a whole lot of these just because they are pretty expensive. This one's a $25 entry fee. I like to maybe do like $10 drafts and stuff like that. But there I am at pick 11. We're going to see where a lot of these post-draft rookies are going now, because there's going to be some big movement. That's kind of a little blind spot I'm working with right now is how is it going to impact when you got players like Keon Coleman or Trey Benson or Brian Thomas Jr., where are they going to go now that we know what teams they're playing on? So that'll be very interesting to see what happens here. We'll see what players make it to me as well. And because this is a situation where I'm at the end of the draft board, we will pause between rounds, so you don't have to watch the whole thing. We'll get this draft done in pretty short order. So I'm just going to do the first round here, but then we'll pause once I've made my second round pick, and we'll come back for the third round and stuff like that. Now, my general strategy has been here that because of the nature of this best ball league, 3 wide receiver slots, it's a half PPR league, that I need to go heavy on wide receivers early because they do thin out very quickly. But the caveat to this is now there's all these rookie wide receivers, which we need to figure out where are they going to go in the draft. There's many that I think are still going to be available later than I think they will end up. But of course, everything's in flux right now. We don't really know how all this is going to shake out for a while, and we got to see what happens during training camp and stuff like that. But right now, look at this. See, this is what I'm talking about. All wide receivers with Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, number 2, going at the 7th overall pick. I do have to say that if Jahmyr Gibbs makes it to 11, I'll probably take him. Otherwise, I'm going to go for a wide receiver. But because again, the elite wide receivers, they are just gone in a second. Okay, there goes Breece Hall. 2 picks to me. Puka comes off. 1 pick to me. Let's see how it let's see how it ends up, and that'll be a quick turnaround to my next pick. So I'm gonna have to make two. Okay, so AJ Brown now it is to me. So if we look at the top of the board, Garrett Wilson's at the top. Look at this. Jahmyr Gibbs is there. I said if Gibbs made it to me, I would take him. I'm going to take Gibbs with my first overall pick. And that means probably 2 and 3, I'm going to go wide receiver. If we look at the wide receivers, I could go for the rookie Marvin Harrison. Drake London is right here. Devontae Adams, Brandon Ayuk, not really interested in those guys. Debo, not interested. So I'm going to take, I'll take one of these 3 guys. We'll see who makes it to me, who makes it back. If Garrett Wilson makes it back, that'd be awesome. Okay, so he took Saquon. Let's see if he goes robust running back, takes Kyron or Jonathan Taylor. But I do like Gibbs. I see him as a Kamara-esque player this season, with getting all the high-value touches and targets in the Detroit backfield. Montgomery's going to be in a secondary role. Okay, so he took Harrison. Interesting. So Garrett Wilson did make it back to me. That's awesome. I will take Garrett Wilson. That's great. What a great start. This is fantastic. Jahmyr Gibbs and Garrett Wilson to start. I love it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause. We will come back when we're within about 3 picks of our next pick. We'll see where we're at, see who's been taken, and make a decision from there. All right, so I haven't seen many changes from the drafts I've been doing so far, but we have 8 running backs going in the first 24 picks. Every other pick is a wide receiver. Again, this is very typical to what we've seen. Third round coming along, we've already had 5 more wide receivers coming off the board. We did have our first quarterback, Josh Allen, Travis Etienne, Josh Jacobs comes off. I do really want to take another wide receiver here. And right at the top of the board, geez. Really, again, this is what happens, man. It just gets picked over so quick. That is difficult, man. I think I'm going to go Devonta Smith here just because I do need another wide receiver. Again, this is the first time I've drafted this late on the draft board. So again, because I passed on a wide receiver here, that makes this one even more valuable. And then what I've really been doing, what I've been doing in all my drafts, I get myself my ace rushing quarterback right here at my next pick. There's still great options on the board. We got Jalen Hurts. Actually, if Hurts makes it to me, he'd be stacked with Devonta Smith. I love that. Oh, of course he gets taken. Of course he does. Of course, because I mentioned that. But we still have Lamar Jackson, and I am perfectly happy to take Lamar Jackson as my elite rushing wide receiver, elite rushing quarterback. So my first 4 rounds, Jahmyr Gibbs, Garrett Wilson, Devonta Smith, Lamar Jackson. Again, I know Devonta Smith is the 2, and I'm not inclined very often to take 2s at this point, but we're kind of at a lull in the draft where the ones that I would consider, it was too early to take like a 4th round one as opposed to someone like Devonta Smith. And we know his role. It's going to be huge in this offense. He just got paid $25 million a year, so he's been incentivized, and he should be good. So we are looking at a good shape right now. I'm going to pause now. We'll come back when we're ready for our 5th round pick. All right, it's almost back to me. You can see in the 4th round, we really turned away from wide receivers as only 4 came off the board. 3 quarterbacks came off the board. 3 tight ends came off the board. And then we've circled around to the 5th round. We've got 4 more wide receivers, 2 more tight ends. So we're having a big run on tight ends here. And now that I think about it, that's something I didn't even consider, but Devonta Smith, I could have gone with like Travis Kelce and Lamar, Jalen Hurts. There was a lot of options there. But anyway, it's almost back to me. I want to get another wide receiver. We've got a couple of good options with Ridley and Brian Thomas, but we've got Joe Mixon and Kenneth Walker sitting here at the top of the board. And I got to say, I don't think I can pass up Kenneth Walker here. I think he's a rock solid RB2 for your fantasy team. So I've got Jahmyr Gibbs and Kenneth Walker as my running backs. I do like that a lot. And I'm going to get at least one of these 2 wide receivers. Okay, he took Calvin Ridley. So I'm going to take Brian Thomas, who I consider to be the wide receiver 1 for Jacksonville, which is great. Taking over the Calvin Ridley role, actually. And I think he's younger, more dynamic player. And so I think that is definitely an upgrade for Trevor Lawrence over what Calvin Ridley brought. And Calvin Ridley did good, even though he was massively inconsistent last year. But that's a really nice start. So my 3 wide receivers are now Garrett Wilson, Devonta Smith, and Brian Thomas Jr. And we still have a bunch of rookie wide receivers that are on the board that are going into number 1 situations. So that is something that we can look at here. I'm going to pause again, look at where we're at for the 7th and 8th round for picks, and I'll be right back, and we'll make that decision at that. Okay, so it's almost back to me. We've got another little run on wide receivers that are happening right now. But I've got a couple. I'm kind of disappointed that Xavier Worthy got taken because I do like that. Okay, great. We got some great options here. So it's to my pick. You can see here, and we've got, oh man, there's some really good stuff here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out and I'm going to take, I'm going to take Jaylen Warren here with my first pick, who I really like his upside for this year. So he's my RB3. And when it comes back, I think I might just end up taking Ladd McConkey here. I think he's going to be a great choice. Let's see here. My next pick will be at 107, so I still might be able to get Tyler Lockett. I know it's really early based on ADP on what it's showing here, but again, these things are all shifting. And but I can get another wide receiver 1. See, these people are taking Mike Williams. He's the wide receiver 2 on the Jets. Christian Watson is a 2 or a 3, can't stay healthy. Jackson Smith is a 2 or a 3. Hopkins is a 2. You know, these guys are all 2s here, but there's now all these 1s on the board from who was drafted in the NFL draft, especially to wide receiver needy teams like the Chargers. Okay, good. He didn't take him. Okay, fantastic. I'm going to take Ladd McConkey here. Like I said, because I do consider him to be the one for the Chargers right now. So I'm going to grab him. It is early to grab him, but that's only based on what was already established with ADP from before the draft. So I've got a couple of rookies right now that I've taken, but I do consider both these rookies to be the number 1 receivers on their respective teams. And that is very, very valuable. To get a number 1 wide receiver here in the 8th round is just absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to go back to the draft board. We'll pause. We'll come back for the next pick and see where we're at and see what's happening. All right, so we're closing in on my pick. I see some more rookies have come off. Adonai Mitchell came off at pick 92. Keon Coleman came off at pick 99, which was one that I was really hoping would make it to me. It's unfortunate. Jonathan Brooks came off. I don't really like his situation for this year. I'd be totally avoiding him for this year, but I think in Dynasty, I think he's a great pick because he does. I think he'll emerge during the course of this year. Next year, kind of take over. Let's see. We got Njoku came off. We can see here also Brock Bowers came off at pick 95 in the 8th round. He has fallen on the draft board from where he was going before. He was coming off as like the 5th tight end before the draft happened, but obviously that spot in Las Vegas, which I really don't consider to be a bad spot. I think he could have a valuable role there. This is a team that has utilized the tight end position pretty well. But I still think he's too expensive there. I would like to have seen him fall farther. Okay, so it's almost back to me. We got a couple of Denver players coming off. Again, Denver's going to be just historically bad. Historically. Okay, now it's to me. Okay, great. So look at this. Trey Benson still sitting at the top of the list, as is Tyler Lockett, Jared Goff. Oh man, this is really, really good. Okay, so maybe I go Benson, Lockett, and then maybe try to circle around and get Dalton Schultz on the next. He will not make it back to me. Shoot. Okay. You know what? I'm going to take Benson here. So I got 4 running backs and 4 wide receivers in the first 9 picks, but I do have to take Dalton Schultz on the next pick, just because if I miss him, then it's probably Kmet that I would be able to take. Kmet at 133, which even then Kmet would probably be it. So I've got, oh boy, I really, this is really tough because I love Tyler Lockett. I've been getting him in a ton of drafts. You know what? I'm going to roll the dice here. Okay. I know that I'm really sacrificing the tight end position, and I always do this. I always sacrifice tight end. It's one of the least valuable positions in fantasy football, just because of the volume these players received. I'm going to hope that maybe Dalton Schultz falls to me, although I think it's very unlikely that will happen. But I now have taken 5 wide receivers. Oh, and I guess 4 running backs, right? Okay, so I've got Garrett Wilson, Devonta Smith, Brian Thomas Jr., Ladd McConkey, and Tyler Lockett. All these guys are 1s. I consider all these guys the number 1 receivers on their team, so that's great. And then I got Jahmyr Gibbs, Kenneth Walker, Jalen Warren, and Trey Benson. Again, I got tons of shares of Trey Benson, but Benson is going to Arizona. He is playing behind James Conner. Conner is 29 years old. Conner cannot stay healthy. Conner has missed 4 games in each of the past 2 seasons. He's now a year older. I can see this as a situation where Trey Benson does absolutely take over this backfield during the course of this season. And again, with running backs, the wheels fall off. They just fall off. He was, Conner was fine last year in his age 28 season. He could come out and not be able to do anything this year. That's how it works with these older running backs. So I'm going for the youth there. I like that. I'm now very nervous about my tight ends, but I always take 3 or 4 tight ends. So I'm not dying about it. I do need to get another quarterback. We'll see who comes back to me. I could get someone like maybe Stafford or someone like that as my QB2. I might even be able to take. We'll take a look. I will pause. We'll come back when we get close to. All right, so we're almost back to me. We've had a bunch more quarterbacks come off the board, including Jaden Daniels at pick 112. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more taken. Oh, darn it. Oh, I was hoping that Dalton Schultz would make it to me. I'm like, oh, there's a chance he's going to make it. He's going to make it, but it didn't happen. We got rookie Pearsall coming off at pick 129. Again, San Francisco, he's the wide receiver 3. I don't know why you would take him here. I don't think he's a very good choice. But guys like Khalil Shakir and Rashid Shaheed, they came off in the 10th round. Stafford comes off too. Jeez, man. All right, well, that's fine because I'm actually targeting Aaron Rodgers. So I do need to take... Do I really need to take a tight end? I mean, at this point with Cole Kmet, I think what I need to focus on, we got some good options here. I will take Aaron Rodgers as my 2. He's going to be my QB2, so I'm going to take him. And then I could take Troy Franklin, who I consider the 1 in Denver because he has played with Bo Nix. Bo Nix is going to be the quarterback there this year. So that would be a good choice as getting another wide receiver 1. We've also got some good running backs right now, man. I mean, Gus Edwards, who I really, really like. Oh man, this is tough. I think I'm going to take Troy Franklin here. I'm going to take Troy Franklin. So, all right. So again, all my wide receivers are basically wide receiver 1s. That's how I'm running right now. And yes, I've got a lot of rookies. And we don't know how it's going to shake out with these guys, but Troy Franklin, Ladd McConkey, Brian Thomas Jr., all these guys are in excellent position to basically be the wide receiver 1s on their teams straight out of the gate. We got Aaron Rodgers, so we're now stacked up with Garrett Wilson. I think that's also fantastic. We've got, let's see here. Do I got any other stacks? I don't have any other stacks right now. But very happy with how this is going right now. I do consider Aaron Rodgers risky. I am going to take a 3rd quarterback, probably in the 15th round. I'll grab one. But for right now, this is looking really good. So we will come back and see how it goes for the next. All right, it's almost back to me. Cole Kmet got taken at pick 150. Xavier Legette got taken at pick 137. Other rookies, Blake Corum got taken at pick 142 for the Rams. Let's see here. Rico Dowdle got taken. Oh, that's a shame, man. I was hoping that Rico would make it to me. That whole Texans backfield, I think Rico's the starter. I don't know. J.K. Dobbins, I don't trust that guy at all. Okay, so it's to me. All right, so again, I've totally sacrificed the tight end position, so I need to take myself 2 tight ends. So I'm going to grab my favorite one first. I'm going to grab Hunter Henry first, as he could very well be the wide receiver 1 on New England this year. I see that as a distinct possibility with a rookie quarterback. And then I think I could take Cade Otton. I do very much like Cade Otton as far as what he offers. The guy plays every down. It's the 3rd year for him, so there is some upside there. So I'm going to grab him. And I'm grabbing these 2 in rapid succession because I did not get myself a top 12 tight end. That was my mistake. I sacrificed so I could grab some more running backs and wide receivers. I'm happy I got those running backs and wide receivers. So that's That's all right. I'm going to probably get 2 more is what's going to happen. We've got 4 picks to go. I'm probably going to take 2 more tight ends just because I need guys. These are all 5,505 guys, and I need as many guys as possible that could hit on a touchdown on any given week. But we will pause. We'll come back. I got to take 1 more quarterback too, so we will look at that as well. I'll be right back. All right, so we are closing out in on the end of this draft here, so it's really getting down to the dregs. I'm generally happy with how this draft has gone, though, except for my tight ends. Obviously, I sacrificed the tight end position, but very solid. Right now, I'm sitting with I got 6 wide receivers, I got 4 running backs, I've got 2 quarterbacks and 2 tight ends. Oh, and I see this only goes 18 rounds. I'm like, why do I not have enough room? So I don't have room to take 2 more tight ends. I've been playing other leagues where there's been 20 rounds, other best ball leagues. So this is a little bit constricted, so I can only take 1 more. It's too bad Tyler Conklin got taken because that's a great choice. Obviously, his value is secure. And given that I have Aaron Rodgers, it would have been nice to have the stack there. But what are you going to do? So I do need another quarterback and another tight end, but we've got some interesting running backs here. So I think what I'll do, I'm going to take the rookie Braylon Allen, who plays behind Breece Hall, but if anything happens to Breece Hall, that could be a very, very good position. Plus, it stacks with Aaron Rodgers, so that's good. And I've got my choice for quarterbacks. I think I might go J.J. McCarthy here, just because he's in an awesome situation with Minnesota. I am not a big believer in McCarthy, but the offense around him is very, very good. And I think that he can be very productive as my QB3. I think he's an absolutely solid QB3. So it is almost back to me. Obviously I've been taking tons of shares of Russell Wilson. I got tons of shares of him. I've been taking a few Derek Carrs. Geno Smith is still on the board. So there's some good options here, but I think I'm going to go with the rookie here. When you look at the offensive situations of all these guys, do I want to go with the rookie or maybe Geno might be good? Geno's really a bargain here. I think I'll take Geno because I've already got Tyler Lockett. So I'll take Geno with Lockett and I'll stack those as well. And then as far as another tight end, I've got a couple of guys highlighted here, Likely, Smith, and Chikakonkwo. We'll see if any of those guys make it back to me. I'm going to go ahead and I'll pause for our final 2 picks, and then we'll see where we're at. All right, it's almost back to me, and all my tight ends got taken. They all got taken. So that's the way the cookie crumbles, man. I mean, I got Hunter, I got Kate Otten. Boy, Zach Ertz is still there. If Zach Ertz makes it to me, I'll take him. Also, we've got some decent options here for running backs. So I think what I'll do is I will take Zach Ertz. I'm going to draft him as my 3rd tight end. And then it will circle around. And while Zach Ertz, he's a very risky pick because of injury history and his age, but he is reunited with his offensive coordinator from Arizona, who really helped revive his career down there. So I think he's going to have a significant role on that offense. That's why I've been taking him late in a lot of drafts. And we'll see what Dog Pound Forever does with his 2 picks, but I do have an idea of who I want to take here with my final pick. And there's not great options. I think Elijah Moore is decent to get myself a 7th wide receiver. But I think what I like better is Alexander Madison in Las Vegas, because I do not believe in Zamir White. I don't know if he's the right player, but I think this guy could find himself in a situation where he is able to produce, and he's always been a quality backup. So I end my draft with, did I do 6 and 6? Is that what I did? I did do 6 running backs, 6 wide receivers, 3 tight ends, and 3 quarterbacks. So my quarterbacks are Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, Geno Smith. I think those are all quality picks there. My wide receivers are Jahmyr Gibbs, Kenneth Walker, who I have stacked with Geno Smith, Jaylen Warren, Trey Benson. Come on, scroll down for me. I'll be right back. All right, so the draft is complete. Now I want you guys to let me know if you think this is a team that can make it into the into the championship level of this. Again, it's a tournament, so it's got big prizes, but you gotta hit some big hurdles at the end of the draft season. But here's who I'm riding with. I got Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, Geno Smith as my quarterbacks. Again, wanted to get that elite rushing quarterback at the top. Back him up with two quality pocket passing quarterbacks, and we got lots of stacks too. Running backs, Jahmyr Gibbs, Kenneth Walker, Jaylen Warren, Trey Benson, Braylon Allen, and Alexander Mattison. So I got a couple of quality backups along with good solid starters. I got Kenneth Walker stacked with Geno Smith. So that's real good. Then on my wide receivers, and again, all my wide receivers are ones. They're all ones. Garrett Wilson. Well, I'm sorry, that's not true. Devonta Smith is not. Okay, so I didn't take Devonta Smith as a 1, but Brian Thomas is a 1. Ladd McConkey's a 1. Tyler Lockett is a 1. Troy Franklin is a 1 on their respective teams. So that's good. Also, I did get, again, the stack with Lockett and Geno Smith. So that's very good. I got the stack with Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. That is also very good. So I like that. My tight ends, again, the weakest part of my team. But again, this is the least important part of your fantasy team. I got Hunter Henry, Cade Otton, and Zach Ertz. I am not thrilled with this. I kind of screwed up, but again, I sacrificed it so I could take a few more running backs and wide receivers, so I'm okay with it. But I would like to have had a better tight end. I did miss on that. But overall, I'm feeling pretty good about this team. And these guys, if Cade Otton can do that year 3 step up, he plays every single down. He is out on the field 100% of the plays. And last year he had a couple of big boom weeks. If he can take a larger share of this offense, if he can get Baker Mayfield's attention a little bit more, he could really develop into a top 12 tight end, which I think is great. Hunter Henry, I feel, is the tight end 1. It's the number 1 receiver for New England. They just don't have very good receivers in New England, so he could very, very absolutely be the one there. Zach Ertz is risky. The more I think about it, the less I like it. But again, I waited too long to get my 3rd. That was my mistake. But overall, very happy with this team. I think it'll do very well. It'll be very competitive this year. Let me know what you think. And anyway, have a great day.